Hey there, Chrissy here for ThermOWeb, and I'm going to show you how to make a couple shaker cards using some fun supplies from Whimsy Stamps along with some ThermOWeb adhesives. So here's a couple of the stamp sets that I'm going to be using. And the first thing that I did was I used some of the foam from ThermOWeb. So some of this foam you can buy in big sheets, and it is awesome. It is especially good for when you want to die cut big things like this. So this is a Whimsy stamp die, and it's called Shaker Maker Banner Set. So I did just that. I decided to make a shaker using it. So I put the foam adhesive on the back. It's two-sided. It's just on a back of patterned paper. And then I ran it through my die cutting machine and I popped it out. So now why that foam is so great, it's for two reasons. One, I don't have to sit there and try to put any adhesive on the back when it's nice and thin. And two, it's foam, so it's thick. And I automatically have dimension for my shaker. So I just trimmed out a piece of acetate to the size of that and then stuck it on the back. And then you can see I used that little chalk duster thing. I wanted to make it unsticky. So on the parts that were still sticky from the foam, because it's two-sided adhesive, I unstuck it, or however you want to say it. So I set up my stamps and how I wanted it to go onto my card base using the banner die as my window. Then I stamped it in black ink, and now I'm covering it in clear embossing powder. I knew that I was going to be doing some watercoloring. I actually stamped this on watercolor cardstock. So the clear embossing powder protects my ink just in case I get a little bit too much water on it. So to kind of do something with a little bit of a twist, instead of using normal watercolors, I decided to use some glitter markers. And these glitter markers, they work well with water as well, so I can kind of treat them as I would with watercolors. I'm using a water brush to go ahead and blend it. I could use my clear sparkle marker too if I wanted to kind of like activate it and blend it if I wanted to use that as a water brush, but I decided to just go the normal route and just water brush it. So I squeezed some of the ink from the markers onto my mat here. That kind of becomes my palette, and then I basically just picked up a little color here and there, added it in, did my usual watercoloring where I start with a really, really light color or a light wash, and then added a little bit of color here and there as it was needed. I sped it up quite a bit here. I promise you, I do not watercolor this quickly. So this is also a Whimsy Stamps stamp set, and it's called Espresso-ly Great, which I think is super hilarious. The other card that I showed you at the beginning of the video, and I will show you again at the end, I actually pulled another sentiment from another stamp set they have called the Everyday Scripted Sentiments. And that stamp set's also really cute. It's perfect. I fell in love with it because it has so many sentiments on there that you can use it for basically a million different card ideas. So it was just perfect for me. And to add kind of like the finishing touch to the watercoloring, I grabbed kind of like this corally color just to kind of give a little bit of a background. I wanted to keep it basically behind where that shaker was going to be. I didn't want the shaker to be the same kind of like stark white as the rest of that card base was going to be. I really wanted the focus to be on that shaker and that banner. So I added a little bit of pink on there. I did hit it with the heat gun, by the way, to make sure it was 100% dry. It did buckle a little bit, so keep in mind that when you're putting your shaker card on or your shaker elements in, you want to make sure that your card is 100% dry, and 2, not buckling. Otherwise, your sequins or whatever you use to shake are going to come out. So I used my GINA dot runner to re-add adhesive on there because I had deactivated it earlier because I wanted to kind of place it on my card, and it was only half the adhesive because the acetate had covered some of it up. So this way I added fresh adhesive and we are good to go through the, I had like little mini heart sequins in there, so I just threw them in the center and then placed my little shaker window on top of there. And now they shake, rattle, and roll. So I just added some more ThermOWeb 3D foam squares. I have a couple layers here, so this is a nice thick card. And then here's my other one. I use the same techniques on both. So thank you so much for stopping by today. Make sure to use hashtag ThermOWeb and hashtag DecoFoil online so we can find all of your projects. Have a great day.